Hello my loves and welcome to my little file folder, and shaped like a little briefcase complete with a handle. This lovely little thing opens up. This pocket forms the closure for the front flap. Open it up. You can open up this front, well actually you can pull out the sides first because they're in little tuck spots. And we'll have a look what's going on inside. And inside we've got these little tuck spots that keep our little sides up. You don't have to use those, it goes together quite nicely without that, and they stay in place quite nicely. And inside we've got all these little files and they're all glued in place, so you've got this lovely little filing system for bits and bobs, great for bits of ephemera, for instance words or numbers and little bits that you've got left over from another project, all sorts of little bits and bobs that you need to keep in some sort of order. This will do it for you. There we go. And we can pop that back in there. You can omit the handle if you want to. This, of course, is designed to go with my Vintage Rose modular storage unit. They look great together. This will sit on top. I've got to run alongside, whatever. Let's get into it. So here are all my bits and bobs cut out. I'm on 250 gram throughout. I've got this page here, which is file folder 1. I've got all my files here, which are file folder 4, file folder 5, and file folder 6. And I've got this page here of bits and bobs, which is file folder 3. I've got this page here, which is file folder 2. And which bit does this appear on? This appears on this page here. Now then, I'm going to level with you. It's been a couple of days since I cut this out on my Cricut machine, and I've had a nightmare with my Cricut machine, and it's broken and I need a new one. So I've been round the goldfish bowl a few times and I can't blooming remember what I'm doing here, but it will all become clear, I'm sure. Apparently I've reverse printed the back of this page here with the backing sheet that you get in the kit. This page here I've also reverse printed with the backing sheet. This page here I won't have reverse printed because it's matting panels for this one, and these bits and bobs here I've reverse printed. Right, let's put it together and see if we can remember how it goes. I'm starting with my scoring, so I'll hoof those bits out of the way, and I'm scoring all of these lines that I can see here. This is my actual folder outside cover. So all of those, and let's fold this up, and I think I'll use a folding bone. So here's my folding bone. Might employ my mat as well, why not? And I'm folding all of these pieces to the inside. Get a nice sharp crease with my folding bone. So yeah, I've had no end of tech problems recently. My printer's doing silly things as well. So I've been non-stop onto the call centres and stuff. And it's a slow process, isn't it? Turns out that I need a new Cricut. Mine's out of warranty, so that's like, oh no. But there we go. That's life, isn't it? Right, these are my file folders. They've all got a gusset in them. So I'm going to crease and fold all of these and fold them up to the middle. A narrow little gusset, so it's a little bit of a fiddle. There we go, and do the same for all of those. And this piece here is a handle. If you want to use a handle, you don't have to. The thing is designed as a handbag kind of shape. Up to you if you want to put this handle on the top. I'll go ahead and begin it. I might not use it. Scoring down here is tricky. Let's line that up as best I can. This narrow little fiddly piece. That's not happening, is it? I'll have to do that by hand. grab my knife and a ruler, and I'll use the back of my craft knife to make this score. There we go, and fold this in half. And my idea was I've gone a bit hard with my craft knife. The idea was to fold this in half and glue it, so I'll do that now. So see my glue down here. Ooh, you could glue it inside out, couldn't you, and have a flowery handle if you wanted. Stick my two halves together. And I'll let that dry for a little bit, and we'll move on to the matting, I think, of this lovely cover. So I've gone ahead and I have inked up all of my edges, and I've inked up all of my edges on my panels as well, and these will only fit in one place, so go ahead and pop them in the right places like this. This piece here is going to be a pocket, so leave that to one side for now. These pieces are going on the side, leave those to one side for now, and these are the pieces fit on here like this. Doesn't that look pretty? I'm going to glue all of those in place now. There we go, they're all on, looking lovely, feeling nice and weighty. Right, if you fold it all around so that this piece here becomes your base, you can see there's the side. The base is a little bit wider than the top there, going for that kind of handbag look, that purse look. This piece here is the pocket that goes over the front, and it also forms the closure as well. This little flap at the front here will tuck underneath. So you need to allow a little border, be dictated to by the borders either side. Do the same border at the bottom, and you want to glue that in place. Make sure you've got this the right way up. So put it together like this. You can see where it needs to go. Make a pocket out of it by gluing on 3 sides. And stick it in place, allowing that nice even border all around. There we go, and I'll let that dry. Now my file folders are all in a bit of a jumble. What you want to do is locate the first one, which has got the little tab on the far left, okay? Then you're looking to find the one with the tab in second place. That's going to go back to back like that. Then you're looking for the one that's got the tab on the third place, which I do believe is this one here. Can you see how each one is joining onto the next? We're going to glue them together so they're back to back. I'm looking for that one there, will fit there. Then I've got this one, and then I've got this one right at the very, very end. So when you put them together, it might seem a little bit complicated. It's not. See, they're going to join together like this. You want to make sure you've got them in the right order before you go sticking them together. And then those two pieces will glue on there. Those two pieces will glue on there. There we go. I hope that's clear enough. Let's begin. So I'm going to take my first one. I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to apply glue to the entire section, including the little tab at the top. Then I'm going to take the second one, I'm going to turn that over, and I'm going to glue it thus. So when I turn this back over, make sure everything's nicely lined up. There's the beginning of my file folder system. and I've got these double thickness pages. So I'm going to do that all the way through. This is my one that lines up next. Glue those two pieces together, glue these two pieces together, glue these two pieces together, and then glue these two pieces together. And then in the end, I'll have this lovely thing that's all stuck together properly. Let's do it. So I'll do the next one. Maybe try a different technique with this one. No, I won't. So I'm going to turn this over, glue the entire back, including the tab. This is my next one. I'm turning this over as well, positioning it down on top, making sure everything's nice and flush. There we go. And then I've got my next one to do. So I can glue all over this one, not the little gusset at the bottom. Turning this one over, gluing it flush on the back, make sure that everything's all nicely lined up while you've got the chance. There we go, that's looking good. And turn all of this over. This piece here is all getting a lot thicker as I go. It's not awkward to do. Just work around it. Turn this one over, pop it on the top. And just turn it around so I can see I've got everything nicely lined up. Yeah, it's looking great. It's lovely and substantial and sturdy as well. I love gluing card layers together to get to that. And then we're on the last one. So glue all around. Check that my camera is actually running. Yes, it is. With the tech issues I'm having at the moment. Yeah, can't be too sure. But all sorts of nonsense going on. Right, so there we go. That is the whole thing stuck together. And I want to make sure as well that these pieces are all sitting nicely. Yeah, that's looking lovely. Everything here is lined up. It's important that they're lined up at the top there. And you can go ahead and you can ink all the way around those when they're dry. Right. Let's pop this in and have a look, see how it's looking when it's all sitting inside. So this is our base here, this wider section, and all of your pieces, all of your files are just going to glue nicely in the bottom there. We're not going to do it just yet. I'm just having a look. Here's my pocket. Obviously nothing's been in that pocket yet, so it needs a little bit of help to be told that it's actually a pocket. There we go. And my closing flap will fit in there just nicely, just like that. And there is my cute little file folder. It's looking great, folks. It's looking great. Right, what are we doing now? I'm not going to glue this in just yet. I'll pop those to one side. And I'm going to have a look at the sides. I've got some score lines to follow here. So let's follow those. We're on a bit of an angle for a couple of them. Follow those. And across the bottom as well. And then I can make those creases into folds. Covered in glue and fluff. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and ink these now. Well, a bit heavy on the inking at the moment, but I quite like that. I don't mind at all. got myself a bottle of re-inker for my lovely distress ink pad. I always use the same one. I haven't got a collection of them. I always use Vintage Photo or Walnut. I love the colour. It goes with absolutely everything. A lot of my stuff is about aged paper and vintage, so this is just perfect for my needs. And I have tried other colours and I've gone, do you know what? No. I like what I've got. Right, so that's that. Somewhere I've got two little matting panels for these as well. I can go ahead and stick these on. I've inked these as well. Now then, we've got a couple of options when it comes to sticking on the sides. One of the options we don't have is whether or not to glue the bottom on, and we're going to glue the bottom on. So take your bottom flaps and pop a little bit of glue on those. And I would suggest you watch a couple of minutes ahead. I always suggest that with one of my videos. You might have options. There might be something that I don't think about until the 11th hour. So yeah, just watch a couple of minutes ahead. Good idea. You don't have to, but you might end up in the... I might take you to a chaotic place. And if you're happy with that, then fine. It's all good fun, isn't it? Right, so we're gluing those two little side pieces in place. And let's have a look at what happens when my glue's still wet, obviously. You can leave these side panels off if you want to. The reason I decided I was going to put them on is A, they look rather cute, and B, if I've got little bits of ephemera and fussy cuts in my folders here, I don't want anything falling out the sides, right? So you can leave yours off if you want to have open sides, absolutely fine. Now then, in here, we've got, in our kit, we've got 4 little pieces that look like this. Now we've got, this is where we have the options. I'm going to ink all of these in first of all. And when I say ink in, of course I mean ink up. Right, so these little pieces here are to form little tuck spots to pop these pieces in. Now you can either glue the back of your pieces direct. That's quite nice actually, that works quite well. That works quite well. I'm not quite sure which way I'm going to take mine. Like I say, you can either glue your pieces on at the back. You don't want to glue them on at the front because you'll never be able to open this flap if you do. Or you can use these as little tuck spots by gluing at the top and the bottom. I need to take a little whisker off all of these actually. I'll do that. Right, which way am I going to take it? The fronts are definitely going to be little tuck spots, so I guess I can go ahead and do that. These pieces are going to be way too long for that, so I need to choose 2 pieces that I want to be on the front and then trim them down. I think it's going to be that one is going to take it better. I didn't do this in the kit because I wanted to leave your options open. So you want to cut this one down, or the 2 that you decide you want to go on the front, you want to trim them down so they're not sticking out over the edge. And I think I'll go with this one here because I can keep my rose image in. You can mark off with a pencil if you want. It's a grand idea. I tend not to. I tend to just indent with my thumb or my knife or something. Tiny little bit more off there. We'll go off this other end. There we go. And when you've got them the right length, a little bit more ink on me cut edges, you're going to glue a narrow seam at the top and the bottom to form a little tuck spot. And I'm putting this way round so that when it's open, these pieces are facing me. I'm not going to go right to the edge. Obviously, I've got my rounded corner there. So I'm going to just come in just past my rounded corner, a little tiny bit of glue at the top, same at the bottom, and pop this little tuck spot in place nice and straight. Same with the other one that I've done. There we go. And whilst I'm letting those dry before I demo it, because yeah, it's good to let your glue dry, I'm going to go back over here to my little files themselves, and I've got 2 panels that I'm going to ink in. Ink in, ink up. I'm an illustrator, and I think it shows sometimes. I go back to my illustrative roots, and I'm inking in, colouring in, not inking, oh, there we go. And I've got one for the front, I've got one for the back, so choose whichever one you want to go on the front. Pop your glue on. Just a nice little bit of finishing. And these are vintage images as well. Or these 2 here, these panels, are little collages I've put together of vintage images. Right, so where's my front? That's my front. I'll pop the one I want to go on the front. On the front. There we go. And I'll pop the other one on the back. There we go, nice and central. I haven't inked the edges of my file folders yet, but I do intend to, if I remember. There we go. That's your little file folder system working beautifully. Now in the kit, you've also got these tiny little bibbies here, and these are little page divider tabs. So you can pop a little bit of ink on these fiddly little doodads here. You don't have to use them. And these are going to glue just on the top of these fellas here. You don't need them, but they do add an extra nice little bit of finish, another little layer, another dimension, which is always nice in paper crafting. And you can stick them on each of the front tabs with a nice tiny little border all around. I've got mucky fingers. I don't know how how crafters work immaculately, and I see videos. I see you with your blinking lovely nails and your gorgeous hands, and I don't know how you do it. You're immaculate homes. I'm not that person. And do you know what? I've given up pretending to be, and it's so liberating. And that, my dears, I know a lot of us are in a similar place, or we've been through it ourselves. That is the gold of the menopause that we're not taught, and we ought to be. When it's not talked about, we're not educated to it. The menopause is difficult, but there's gold there. There's gold there, and losing the weight of other people's expectations. For me and for others that I've spoken to, is absolutely part of that. Really brilliant liberation. as we step into our power as older women. There we go. Yeah, so they're all stuck on. This should be all nice and dry. This is then going to glue into the centre here. Am I going to do that just now? No, let's faff about with the cover a little more. So here's our tuck spot here now for our side pieces. Let's just have a look, see how that's working. Beautifully, by the way, beautifully. There we go. And there's the back that comes round to the front. Actually, don't need one on the back. I've decided that I'm going to put more tuck spots on the back 2 panels here. I can glue this on. This is a little prototype of me holding it with my thumb and gluing it on. But I want to be able to open this up entirely, I think. So I'm going to stick these 2 pieces on now. I've trimmed these down just ever so slightly. Have I trimmed that one down? No, I haven't. Because they're just a tad too long. That's just me not allowing for the folds in the design process, and that's fine. You just need to trim those down a little. So a little bit of glue at the top and the bottom, and stick this on. I'll stick it in the same place as the last one, lining it up with this one here. So this is really pretty. It's really pretty to open up and look at these. These are vintage panels. Vintage soap adverts mostly, I think. Let's have a look at them. Yeah, Wild Rose. But that was a bookmark. But it's been a promotion, hasn't it? It's been soap, I think. There we go. Right, so I've got 2 tuck spots for the front, I've got 2 tuck spots for the back. I'm going to let those dry before I go messing about with them. And I've also got my base to stick on here. So all of this here now is going to get glued. I think I might go in strips. And I'm definitely going to let this go tacky before I stick it down, because I'm going to be holding it in place for a minute while it grabs. So lots of glue on there. I'll spread that about with my finger. Helps it go tacky. And quite jelly-like. I love this glue. There we go. That'll probably do for tackiness. I'm going to make sure that I'm sticking the one with the first tab at the front. I'm lining up, I'm looking at this side so I can line it up centrally. And this side as well now, so that I can check that it's the same on both sides. I've got it in the middle that way, and then I've got it in front of my fold at the front and in front of my fold at the back. That's looking really, really good. And then I'm going to go into each one of these little files. Let's get my tool involved. And I'm going to glue each one down. I'm going to do that a few times so that I know that it's all grabbed beautifully. And keep checking. Oh look, that's fallen off. That's no good, is it? My little tab's fallen off there. Get back on. There we go. Right. Yeah, reinforce this gluing of the files to the actual folder. This is working out really well. My bone folder is just the right thickness at this end. And there we go. Check check nothing's gone awry. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's fold it up. So I've got my 2 little tuck spots at the back here to pop my side tags in. Let's just check all of those are at the front. Let's do that again. So I've got my little tuck spots at the back. That's going in beautifully. And then I've got my tuck spots at the front to also pop in. That's going in really nicely as well. There we go. Oh, it's so cute. And then my front pocket holds the top there like that, and that's it closed, and that's it complete. Now I haven't put my lid on, my handle, and do you know what, I don't think I'm going to. Let's have a look. So I've glued this together, I let it dry. Actually, it is quite cute, isn't it? Let's go for it. I've made it super duper long. I didn't want to dictate how long your handle was, and I wasn't sure how long I wanted it to be. So I'm going to get some ink involved here. I'm going to be trimming this down. So I'll just ink up the sides for now. And I flexed it a little bit as well, kind of like that. I'm going to fold over, let's say, 1/2 inch on one end, and that will stick down here like this. Decide how long I want the curve. I don't want it very long. I think I'll just go about there, and then I'll fold this over as well. And let's see how that's looking. That's cute, like a little briefcase. And then I'm going to cut this off about 1/4 inch. There, like that. It's not glued together brilliantly there. Let's get a bit more glue in while I can. There we go. And now I'm going to set to with my crocodile. You can use brads if you want and a pokey tool. Let's glue my ends. Ink my ends. I'm going to make sure that the tidiest edge is at the front. Let's get a bit more ink in there, I think. So my tidiest edge is at the front, and I'm going to have a look at that. You could even glue this on if you didn't want to use brads or eyelets, but you know, I will never not use my crocodile if I've got an opportunity to, because I love it. Let's go for gold for a change. I usually go for rose gold. I'm going to take my eyelet setter and make a hole right in the middle of this little 1/2 inch that I've folded, and do the same on the other side. And I can do that by eye. I'm not concerned if it's not perfect. Right, now I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to pop me, I could round corner that, couldn't I? I tell you what, I won't round corner it, but I'll just snip off the corners to make a bit of a more of a pleasing shape, and I'll pop some ink on those little bits as well. There. Decide where I want my handle to actually sit. Do I want it to come up a little bit? Yeah, it's nice to have a little border all the way around there, isn't it? So I'll line that up there. I'll do the same on the other side. So I've got a nice border all the way around. And I'm going to open this up and make holes. Could have done this at a different stage, but it's fine, doesn't matter. Make an hole. If I can get that far in, I can. And the same on the other side. Oh, don't you just love a crocodile? Just no effort going through those pages at all, those 2 layers of card. There we are. And now I can set it. So let's get my eyelet in. It looks really nice. Have I got this the right way round? Yes, I have. Make sure I've got my eyelet setter the right way up. And if you've got one of these, you will no doubt have been caught out by that and wonder why you're not setting very nicely. Look at that, it's really cute. I'm glad I decided to put the handle on in the end. Your angle might be rubbish, I do apologise. From top down camera angle. But it looks great. It looks good from my angle. There we go. That's set. It looks delicious. Let's tuck this in again. Right, so to close this, right, a word to the wise. Compress this. Make sure your your side pieces, the flaps on your side pieces are sitting in front and behind of all your files. Let's have a look to see what happens if we actually don't pop it in the tuck spots. Yeah, you're getting away with that. They just push in. They'll just stay there quite nicely on their own. You don't have to. So here we are. I lost camera and I'm not quite sure where I got to until I come to edit the video. I won't know. Hopefully I got it all on. I've set my handle using my crocodile. You could use brads, you could glue it on, you could omit the handle altogether. You've got options there. And also you've got options when it comes to these side panels. You don't need to use the tuck spots that we've stuck on. They're still rather charming to have there, and you've got the option if you want to use them. Now I suggest if you're going to use the little tuck spots to keep the side pieces closed, make sure that your file folders are sitting inside these two sets of tabs here before you attempt to close it. And it goes together quite easily. It's quite happy to get these little side tabs are quite happy to go into these little tuck spots at the front on both sides. Equally, you don't have to use them. You can bring up your sides, either side of your file folders. Just bring the whole lot up. Use your, I'm still using a tool because this is new. Use your pocket as your closure. There, like that, and these will stay in quite nicely. There we go. It looks beautiful, and of course it matches the modular storage unit, so it's a little bit of something extra. It will sit on top quite nicely. It goes alongside. I hope you have really enjoyed that, my loves. It's a nice little piece of ephemera storage that I'm sure you'll get a lot of use out of. And you can just open up your files and you've got all your bits and bobs stashed away in the right places. Have fun. I will see you next time.